Have you ever thought to sit down with Chat GPT and just go, write us a Cornetto movie, will you?
AI could be amazing for us. I mean, classically in the human way, we're terrified immediately. In terms of medicine, space travel, sort of environmental protection, it could zoom us forward into the future. When AI has its own feelings, then maybe it might be able to make art. Right now, all it can do is copy. But in art, art's a very human thing. So stay the hell out of our sandpit. AI.
Nicely said. Good morning, you're listening to the Dave Berry Breakfast Show on Absolute Radio. Joining me this morning, a person who we all fell in love with on Channel 4 Spaced. In his illustrious career, he has fought off zombies, brought law and order to a country village, hung out with aliens, and people have requested that he beams them up. However, one of our favourite characters is that of the wildly lovable and heroic Benji Dunn, and he is back in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. It's Simon Pegg.
Hello, mate. I was just loving watching you do that then.
Yeah, was it good?
Who's he talking about?
Yeah, what the guy? I like that guy. Simon, it's great to see you. Now, I've seen the movie, and it's always difficult in this position because I don't want to plot spoil anything for anybody listening to this who's looking forward to going and watching it.
Yeah.
However, I want to ask you about the movie.
Yeah, of course.
So let's start with kind of a really interesting thing about this film.
Yeah.
Is that the main baddie in this movie is not a person at all.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about that.
Firstly, have you recovered yet?
Yeah. I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. Wow. I know.
Right? Yeah, the villain is the antagonist, we say, is something called the Entity. And it's represented by Esai Morales' character, Gabriel, who's a kind of person working for it. But the Entity is essentially an AI. And when McHugh told me, Chris McQuarrie, the director, he sort of floated the idea back in 2019. I thought, yeah, that's perfect. Mission Impossible. It's kind of techie. It's a little bit sci-fi.
Yeah.
It's totally in keeping with the Mission Impossible vibe. And yet here we are in 23 and like everyone's talking about it already. This notion of something kind of becoming, replacing us or becoming aggressive towards us. It feels very prescient at the moment.
Well, it's a zeitgeist part of the movie.
Totally,
it's incredible you've done it. I knew, as you say, you kind of having these conversations back in 2019, when I first realised that AI was going to be no good for humankind, was when I asked it to do Marvin Gaye, and this is what it came up with.
I always want to be together, but that's to you.
That's AI Marvin Gaye. Yeah. Do you want to hear Freddie Mercury?
Go on, yes.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Coming to find you.
I thought AI's no good.
AI is not good, but it's not bad. I mean, it's kind of.
Well, you don't mind the Freddie?
You surely could do a competition of like AI guess the artist. If you say, who's this?
Marvin Gaye. 5 points. Well done. If we talk about AI in the arts, and as you say, as we've discussed, it's everybody's talking about it right now.
Yeah.
Does it have a place for you anywhere? Obviously, yourself and Edgar writing scripts and so on and so forth. Have you ever thought to sit down with Chat GPT and just go, write us a Cornetto movie, will you?
Well, I think the thing is art. The very definition of art is the kind of expression of human emotion into the sort of abstract. It's a human thing, art. I mean, you can have, chimpanzee art. If a chimpanzee paints a picture, that's how it's feeling. And so that's also art, When AI has its own feelings, then maybe it might be able to make art. Right now, all it can do is copy. All it can do is approximate. It can't do anything artistic. I mean, you could possibly use it as a tool, as a brush, perhaps. An artist could use AI to make something, but the AI can't make something itself. AI could be amazing for us. I mean, classically in the human way, we're terrified immediately. In terms of medicine, space travel, sort of environmental protection, it could zoom us forward into the future. But in art, art's a very human thing. So stay the hell out of our sandpit. AI.
Nicely said. Stay the hell out of our sandpit. AI is a great pull-out quote from this interview. Now, listen, you touched on it there. Have I recovered yet from watching the movie?
Yeah.
Because, one of the things that Mission Impossible always brings us is those kind of incredible, huge set pieces. And this movie is no different. But one of the things this movie also brings us is Tom Cruise doing quite a bit of sleight of hand close-up magic.
Yeah.
So you know, people always say, wow, does Tom Cruise do his own stunts?
Yeah.
I want to know, Simon, does Tom Cruise do his own magic tricks?
Yes, he does. He's kind of like he
There's
trains.
nothing he can't do.
Well, this is it. But he what he'll do is if he has to do something, whether it's a stunt or a particular skill set, he will train to do it, and he'll spend, he'll put in 100 hours doing something. So I'm pretty sure he trained with a close hand magician to do a few of those little bits and bobs. You kind of hint in the movie that Ethan's past, before he became part of the IMF, he was, a little bit like Haley's character, maybe a little criminal. This whole idea that we are all offered the choice to join the IMF or go to prison or live a life where we might not survive long. And so, Tom thought, okay, this is Ethan's history, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to learn to do it properly, and he did.
Well, did he? I mean, you guys have been touring around the world together. There's been some lovely images of you like asleep on one another on a private jet and stuff, just really random stuff. Has he been like
next to each other, not on one
well,
another?
But have I reimagined it slightly?
I think you have slightly.
Yeah. I used AI to doctor that image for me. It's a deep fake just for Dave. But was he showing you some magic tricks? When you're touring around, you go, do the thing where you make this disappear, or pull a coin out from behind my ear.
To be honest,
we're not children, David, is what you're getting.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen. I mean, he did that in the movie, and I remember him practicing in that. But when we're sort of touring around, it's such a whirlwind. We're going from here to Abu Dhabi to Seoul to Sydney to New York to Tokyo on this tour, and it's just a whirlwind. You know what I mean? There's barely time to stop and do anything, let alone a little coin trick.
Okay. Fair play. The bigger thing that's happening when we first see the kind of close hand magic, though, is a fantastic scene involving your character Benji, where you're trying to basically stop a bomb from going off.
Yeah.
And it's one of those lovely kind of cut the red wire or the green wire, but Mission Impossible style, right?
Yeah.
Next level. When you're working with Tom Cruise, because he's kind of spoken about, the importance of that cinematic experience, and we've, touched on already those big set pieces. Is that kind of everyone knows what you set out to do from the very beginning, from day one on set or in pre-production? It's like, we're making something, a cinematic experience that people are going to enjoy.
Yeah, Tom is like utterly devoted to cinema as an art, and I mean the act of going to the cinema, spending time in a room with a lot of people you don't know, sharing that experience. That's one of the things people always think about, the big screen and the sound, but it's also about sharing it with a whole load of people and all feeling those emotions at the same time. It's important we do that. And these days, when we're all very insular on our phones, that we remember those tribes that we have that transcend all of our different beliefs, our different political leanings. We all get together and we share this moment, and I think he really understands the value of that. That's vital to him. It really is.
I mean, when you guys, the movie is in cinemas now, I can't recommend you go and see it enough. There's a whole bit in it, right? I proposed to my wife in Rome.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and after the harrowing experience of that whole sequence at Rome, I don't think I can ever go back there again.
I thought you were going to say, after the harrowing experience of proposing to my wife.
That was pretty harrowing as well. Or nerve-wracking. And then Venice, that's where we went on our honeymoon. I was like, Mission Impossible, leave Venice alone, for heaven's sake.
It's just a tour of Dave Berry's romantic spots.
Okay, Simon, look. It's a pleasure to see you, as it always is. And as I say, I have been lucky enough to see Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 already, and it is an incredible movie. I cannot recommend it enough, and it is in cinemas right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Simon Peck.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure.
That was hilarious.